Well, hello everyone. I hope you can all hear me okay. What a privilege it is to have you calling in this evening and joining us for the Firefly International 2020 Gala. We have at the moment about 130 people on the call, and we think we're going to have more joining throughout the evening. We have people from all over who are calling in, not just from the UK, so a very warm welcome to all of our supporters, including a number of new ones here tonight. You're all very, very welcome. This is a lovely way for us all to come together. We're all separately in our homes, but we've invited friends, family, colleagues. So please do know that you are part of a very big community here this evening. My name is Charles Phillips. I've been a trustee with Firefly for the past 5 years, and I'll be one of your co-hosts this evening. Your other co-host, Henrietta McMicking, we call her Het, is also here, and you'll hear from her in just a moment. She's also a Firefly trustee. So a huge thank you to all of us, to all of you for joining us. And I hope you've all been able to make a donation towards this evening and for being here tonight. For those of you who are less familiar with us, and for those of you who are new to us, Firefly is a small UK charity, and we support children affected by war in Syria, Bosnia, and Palestine. We're a small charity, but we have a really, really big impact, and you'll hear much more about what we do this evening. This is a fundraising evening, so we thank you so much for those of you who have already donated, and for those of you who haven't yet had the chance to do so, we would love to have your donations, and you'll find a link to the Just Giving page in the Zoom chat. So we're all here on Zoom, and just a couple of ground rules. Please stay muted throughout the evening. And if you do have any questions, please write those in the chat throughout the evening as we go, and we'll collect them. And at the end of the evening, we've added a bit of time for a short Q&A for those who would like to stay on, and you'll be able to hear from some of the people we have at Firefly. We have Maisie Palmer in the background, who is a wonderful Firefly volunteer doing all of the tech support for us this evening. She'll be sharing all of the videos that we're going to be seeing. You've got a couple of different options for viewing your screen this evening. If you go to the top right of your screen, you should find a little button which says View, and you can either select Gallery View or Speaker View. If you select Speaker View, you'll be able to see on a big screen those of us who are speaking. If you select Gallery View, you'll see all of the little boxes, and you can try and spot your friends and family who are out there. Cameras, please feel free to keep your cameras on throughout the evening. We'd love to see your reactions to the videos, and we want everyone to be able to see each other. If we do have any technical glitches, please bear with us. We are a small charity, and we have had people editing videos from their kitchen tables and up late at night for the last several weeks to get this evening together, but I hope we've got something which looks pretty great for you. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Het, and she'll give you an overview of the entertainment for the evening.
Good evening, everyone. So lovely that you have all been able to join us this evening, and thank you for your wonderful support and your donations. Charles has explained some of the ground rules for the call, and I'm here to explain the key timings. So for the next 45-50 minutes, we're going to play you some videos from our projects that we support in Bosnia, Gaza, Turkey, and northern Syria, as well as some fabulous readings. At 8 p.m. or thereabouts, we'll break for dinner until 8:45. Please keep your Zoom on because during that time, we have got some beautiful music acts to play you. I hope that some of you have been able to cook some of the recipes. I have been sharing my disasters with my co-committee, but we've been trying. They've been given to us by the wonderful Irtab Azam and Dina Musawi. They are on the call today, so welcome to ladies, and thank you for organising these wonderful menus. They compiled these recipes into their book, Syria Recipes from Home, when they were working together on a theatre project with Syrian refugees, and then they travelled around Europe and the Middle East to various Syrian families to bring it together. And you can buy one of their books on our online auction. We call it the silent auction. They're £25, so a great present for any of your friends and family, and you just have to click it, and we'll be adding it if they run out, so they don't. And And thank you for all your brilliant bids on the silent auction site. We have already raised £6,500 there. And when we come back from dinner, we'll be having our live auction. Kat Manson from Christie's has her gavel ready, and we're going to have 4 lots. We have a wonderful 17th century house in Ely and Fife, which sleeps 18 to 20 people. So it's like a really fantastic opportunity for a lovely family event. A picture from Lucy Temple. Lucy has supported us for the last 3 or 4 years with her work. And this one is sort of gold and turquoise. And as always, it's sort of reflective of sort of Andalusian Moorish art and geometry. It's really beautiful. We've got a lovely house in Seaview in the Isle of Wight. And for those, when we can come back and party and meet together, we have a live DJ, and we'll learn a bit more about Harry later, but he has DJ'd, he's been invited to Portugal and places. He's really good, I am told. So let us start the evening with our wonderful patron, the actress Joanna David. Now, Joanna's on the call today, but in order not to have any glitches, she has recorded this wonderful message and a reading from Warsan Shire, who is a British Somali poet and came to the UK herself as a refugee.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joanna David, and I became involved with Firefly in 2014 when I read an incredibly moving letter by Ellie Maxwell at the first Firefly Gala. Some of you will remember how she described an atrocious and murderous football match that took place in a camp in Bosnia during the war. A group of Muslim boys were made to play a game where the losing team would all be shot. She wrote, "As they played the game, they knew that for every goal they lost, they were one step closer to dying. And for every goal gained, they were sentencing their friends to death." Her words still haunt me today. Ellie was 18 when she spent time in Bosnia and witnessed the effect of war on young children forced to be refugees, living without a home, school, or the safety to play and to be a child. She founded Firefly just over 20 years ago in a shed in Brčko, northeast Bosnia, offering a safe place of refuge for children. As we learnt from the wonderful Dana and Milos, who flew in to attend the Firefly event last November, Brčko is the only municipality in Bosnia where the 3 communities, Bosniak, Serb and Croatian, live together in one city. However, there is still much distrust between them. Ellie strongly believed that shared creative activity plays an important part in reducing these community tensions. The Firefly Centre, called Svitac in their language, offers a safe place where Serb, Croat, Bosniak, Christian and Muslim young people can play and learn together. Ellie's life was cut short when she died aged just 32 in 2009, but her work continues and lives on. The centre in Bosnia has moved and grown, but continues to follow Ellie's initial plan, with children from all the ethnic groups meeting, playing and learning together. Ellie's vision of a tolerant society. Firefly International has also grown and now works with Syrian refugee children in Antakya, Turkey, and in the refugee camps of northern Syria. Thousands of children each year benefit from safe space and education, which builds hope and helps to stabilize these devastated communities. Firefly is also working in Gaza and has formed a partnership with ACT International and IMIT 2000 to offer a vital counselling system to young Palestinian children suffering from PTSD. In 2019, I became a patron of Firefly, and I'm truly delighted, privileged, and honoured to be involved in this small yet hugely effective charity. Thank you for listening, and I hope my pronunciation hasn't offended anybody. Please forgive me if it has. Thank you. I'd now like to read you a poem, if I may, by Worcestershire, a refugee herself. Home, by Worcestershire. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbours running faster than you, the boy you went to school with who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory is holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one would leave home unless home chased you, fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought about doing, and so when you did, you carried the anthem under your breath, waiting until the airport toilet to tear up the passport and swallow, each mouthful of paper making it clear that you would not be going back. You have to understand, no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. Who would choose to spend days and nights in the stomach of a truck unless the miles travelled meant something more than journey? Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that you will enjoy Firefly's Virtual Gala this evening, and please, will you dig deep into your pockets if you can. This is a particularly bad year for all charities, and thank you all so much for doing what you do and being involved. I really hope this time next year that we can all be together in one place for the 2021 Firefly Gala. Enjoy yourselves, please.
Well, we thank Joanna so much for the wonderful message and her really, really kind words of support. The first project video that we're going to show you this evening is from our Gaza project. And this is a project which supports children's mental health. It supports children suffering from psychological trauma from the effects of war and conflict. And for those of you who are less familiar with the situation in Gaza, people in Gaza live in really difficult conditions. Things are really claustrophobic. People often can't go out of their house throughout the year because of the situation of conflict that they face. And in many ways, there's a permanent lockdown in Gaza. It's something we can now all identify with. You'll see the video in just a moment, but I'll let you know that Firefly runs this project with two partners. And we have Stella here this evening, who is from ACT International, that stands for Action for Child Trauma International. And we also have Colin Green on the call as well, from IMET 2000, and that stands for the International Medical Education Trust. And a huge thank you to them for their support with this project and for working together on this. It's such a successful project, and it's important to let you know that the money that we do send to this project goes a really, really long way. It has an enormous success rate. So we're going to show you a short video explaining what the project does with some recent footage from the team there. And you may find that the subtitles are slightly fast, but if there's anything you don't understand, please mention it in the chat and we'll get to that later at the Q&A. So here we go.
نحن نعمل ضمن منهجية تقنية اسمها المعالجة المسرعة للصدمة النفسية، اختصارها كات. يتم استخدام تقنية كات بنجاح في بيئات متنوعة في جميع أنحاء العالم، وقد تم تطويرها بما يتوافق مع إرشادات منظمة الصحة العالمية الخاصة بالأطفال. يتم تقديم العلاج من 1 إلى 1 وهو متمركز حول الطفل، ويمكن الأطفال من معالجة الذاكرة المؤذية من أجل تقليل أو إزالة أعراض اضطراب ما بعد الصدمة.
في البداية يتم تسجيل الأطفال في المركز إما بالحضور مع ذويهم بشكل شخصي أو التحويل من المؤسسات التي تعمل في الدعم النفسي في قطاع غزة، وبعد ذلك يتم عمل تقييم قبلي لهؤلاء الأطفال للتأكد من وجود أعراض صدمة نفسية.
نأمل أن يتجدد هذا المشروع لكي يستهدف أطفال جدد مصابين بالصدمات النفسية في قطاع غزة، حيث أفادت المؤسسات الدولية العاملة أن هنالك 270,689 طفل هم بحاجة للتدخل النفسي.
Well, it's wonderful to see more from the project there. And we actually have Mohammed, who you saw on the call, here this evening with us. And Mohammed is going to say hello in just a moment. We also have Maria Chambers with us on the line, and who is one of Firefly's project coordinators. And Maria has worked a lot with Mohammed. So both are going to say a quick hello, and Maria is going to have a short conversation with Mohammed. So I'll ask both of you to unmute yourselves. And Maria, are you there?
Hi.
Hey, Maria, and then Mohammed, can we hear from you as well? Are you able to unmute yourself? Yeah, go ahead.
Mohammed, it's just amazing to have you here with us tonight, live from Gaza. And the fact that the electricity is working and you're with us is just really, really amazing. I just would like to introduce you warmly to everybody. I met Mohammed 2 years ago when we trained in Bristol together, and he returned to Gaza to address the needs of his local community. 270,000 children require psychological support, and Mohammed has started. Really, Mohammed, I think what people would like, we all want to help you. What you're doing is amazing. What can we in the UK do to help you?
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. Good evening from Gaza. I hope you are all safe. I want to thank you, Firefly, for your support. Firstly, I am send my message of thanks and kindness to females and friends in UK. Your support for this project will help Gaza's children to live a life full of security and love, and it will help them to play as kids again. I think children deserve to live in peace.
Oh, Mohammed, thank you. Thank you so much. I think it's worth really stressing. Mohammed has, treated, as we saw in the video, 50 children and changed their lives through the work that he's done, helping them process their trauma. I think, Mohammed, Firefly really regards you as our friend and family, and we all really want to support you and sustain this project in the future. And we'd just like to say a huge thanks to you for serving your community in such a professional and profoundly inspiring and life-changing way. Thank you. I feel so emotional talking to you now. It's a huge privilege. Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all.
I don't know whether you will all realise that electricity in Gaza is, very unpredictable. So we weren't sure whether Mohammed would be able to join us this evening. So we practiced earlier and it worked, and then it was all a bit sort of nerve-wracking, but that's great that we could hear from him directly. Next, we have a piece written by the Palestinian filmmaker and writer Hind Shoufani. Now, Hind is living in Dubai. She was trying to join us tonight, but it's after 11:30 there, so I'm not sure if she's managed to stay up. But this is a letter that she's written to her aunt who lived in Galilee, which is now northern Israel. And Hind talks about the difficulties of being separated from her family and from her background, where all her family were from. She was born in Lebanon and then has traveled all over. For a while she lived in London and in America. She was a student, and that's really very much the experience of so many Palestinians, as displaced persons. And this is now an experience shared by so many millions of Syrians since 2011. And just as a side note, all our staff and children at the Firefly Centre in Turkey are Syrian refugees. So Hind is next.
Hi everybody, my name is Hind Shoufani. I'm a Palestinian filmmaker and writer. I'm very grateful to have been invited to share a text with you. This is the first time I read it, so I hope you forgive any issues reading it, or if I burst into tears. This text is about my aunt, Odette, from my village Malia, from the Galilee in northern historic Palestine. And it's part of a five-part text, so it's an excerpt of 5 pieces that deal with the land and reclamation of land. And I picked the most gentle one for us tonight about my aunt and the matriarchal and maternal spirits that give me a lot of courage to continue my life and to continue my work. Her name was Odette, and this is for her, and for all the women who miss their mothers and their aunts. My aunt softly cried on the phone every single time I spoke to her throughout the first 4 decades of my life. That's a lot of awkward conversations stitched with sobs, her choked voice floating from behind the wires, the walls, the worry. I am one of the daughters of her self-exiled brother, taken by the war we all inherited, by the decisions made in our resistance to it. My father fought outside Palestine for 40 years, but at the heart of it, I know now it was all for a small patch of green land he had to leave, for some stones he had once loved, for the tender arms of the people he knew there, a castle, a mill, a church. The family left behind must have sensed I would come from him one day. Did it fill them with contentment out there in a field, perhaps rubbing their fingers to smell the fresh thyme? They must have marveled at the tedious length of absence, the repetitive inanity of separation. The beginning of every phone call would start with my aunt immediately asking why I was not yet married. How dangerous to be alone, she must have thought. To remain single would be akin to lopping off my arms and legs, to float alone in the harshness. She could not bear it. Then she would move on to ask me 12 to 14 times if I was all right. We both knew she could do nothing about any pain I might harbor, wandering the maps of new cities. I saw her in the flesh before she died recently, having lived almost 100 years. I could not recognize her legs, and she took a very long time to recognize my face, popping into the room unannounced after years of absence. I had reclaimed the Galilean homeland close to her that my father had given up, and she had lost to old age the earth she took for granted inside her heart. She remembered my name though, and cried. We both did. Then she asked me if I was married. Did I already have children? I could see the hope in her face. If she could not remember my exile correctly, maybe I already had a family and she simply forgot. Maybe I was okay. I was okay, with my cameras and my screens and my words and the silences of the morning. My only surviving aunt, Odette, was forever known to me as the aunt I would not know. This is what the occupation takes. Not just our plants and trees, the sinew of bodies, but also my aunt's given right to not cry every time she saw me. Ever since we were dispossessed of Arab land, regional identity, common geography to roam, and the daily names of all things natural, my extended family were doomed to tears at every hello. The war took my aunt, and with that theft, it took away the plan of the universe for women to carry one another. Family is an everyday act of carrying. If only my aunt had been able to shop for shoes with me in Damascus, to sit by the sea in Rawshe and sigh at the various types of heat one suffers in Beirut. I wish we could have shared a hot blueberry Pop-Tart in a secret Webde garden in Amman, or painted Christmas ornaments together. Or even just stared out, wine in hand, at the desert of Dubai, not approving of the glass structures in the new beige sky we now called our diaspora home. My aunt outlived all the passions of her life, her parents, her husband, her 5 brothers. She outlived the use of her legs and her hearing. She was born before an entire country ravaged us. She died older than their occupation and was always infinitely more beautiful. I grew up without a village or a large extended family. This is uncommon in the Arab world and yet intrinsically Palestinian, now also Syrian, now also Iraqi, now also Lebanese. My aunt stayed in the village and became a citizen of an organized criminal aberration. In it, the family does not know how to elucidate all the small things that were lost. The graduation of the niece, the gift for her scholarship, the launch of her first book. This is what the occupation we speak of, direct, indirect, financial, ideological, and spatial, does. This is the main point of it, the psyche trembling in awareness at everything it was robbed of. 53 cousins, sleeping in hammocks, complaining to your aunt that a spider has bitten you as she applies vinegar and strokes your hand, the knowing giggles over too many biscuits with beer, the cuddling of babies, regardless of whose they are, the flowers bursting out of the gates in the evening, the hand waves beckoning you in to come in for a chat, knowing only your closest family as lines and forms, without the fullness of layers. This is what the occupation has done. You are outside, thudding into the love still binding this family, without a visceral knowledge of how the years have passed or the heaviness of that time. How dare they take away my aunt from me? One aunt among 100 others it took, a cosmos in the voluptuous body of my generous aunt. From her and the delicate schoolmaster she had married, they handcrafted a clan. Thank you, Auntie, for my cousins. I revel in the names of the kind children you give back to Palestine in these hideous days of new nomenclature. It is fitting that whenever I imagine my future without a daughter, I am besieged by the image of my aunt, unable to walk, to speak, or remember much. Her body perhaps comforted by the presence of her daughter, soothing arms, cheeks, softening the thud of finality in the body at the end. I will not have 5 children around me when I can no longer stand, Auntie. And perhaps this is what you have been speaking about all these years. We, those of us scattered by the occupation, do not listen, nor do we have the faith that you kept. Forgive us. We failed you, but only in a few small ways. Goodbye, Auntie. I think you would be gratified to know that we were made of star matter inherited from your brother, the pearl at the middle of your mother's necklace, as you called him. Maybe now there is a space where your energy meets his, and there will be no more funerals. Goodbye, Auntie.
Wow, thank you so much, Hind, for recording that for us. I know there's lots of people on the call this evening who that Palestine's a very dear issue to a number of people that we have here this evening. But if you would like to know any more about Hind and her work, or about Palestine, please do put a message in the chat and we'll try and answer that for you. So the next video that we want to show you this evening is from our second project, and that is our project for Syrian refugee children in southeast Turkey, in the province and city of Antakya. And for those of you who don't know, Antakya is right in the southeast of Turkey. It's in a little portion of land which dips down right into Syria, so it's where lots of Syrian refugees have moved to flee conflict over the last several years while the terrible war has been going on. The project that we have also works with schools and camps in northern Syria as well. And you've already heard from Maria Chambers. Maria was visiting our centre in Antakya for about 3 months during the summer, working entirely voluntarily with the team, and really helped to do some wonderful work. On the video that we're going to show you, you'll hear from Fadia, and Fadia is the director of our youth centre in Antakya. She's kindly recorded this video and this message for us just a couple of days ago, and it's worth noting that before 2016, Fadia didn't speak a word of English. So I hope you enjoy.
Hello everyone, I'm Fadia Shakir. I will be talking about Syria. Syria is a country in Middle East suffering from the war since 2011 until now, which resulted millions of refugees, thousands of dead, thousands of displaced and orphan children, and thousands of children without school. We started our project in 2016 and we aim to return the Syrian children to school, especially in refugees camp in Syria near the Turkish border, which is sample children right to learn safe place. In Turkey, we are working online, which is especially hard with the younger children. We have monthly meetings with carriers to give learning resources and support our online work. In Syria, children can still go to school if they keep social distance and wear masks. Many schools are facing closure due to lack of money. Teachers aren't being paid. We need to support these teachers and children who are living in tents this winter and enable them to go to school, to continue their learning in a warm, safe space. We have extended our work on October and include another girls' school, and we want to support a boys' school of 150 pupils if our budget will allow. A race against time in an attempt to provide the opportunity for education for the largest number of children, but we are facing a shortage of resources. I'm talking to you as a mother to say, for those children who are born in Syria 2011, this means that they are now in third grade of primary school. And it also means that they now know nothing except war. They deserve to have a chance to dream and play and learn, of course. And you can be the main part to help them achieve their dreams. So please give generously so we can provide jobs for experienced teachers and essentially learning for children inside Syria, which they need right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fadia. And as she said so poignantly there, you all can be part of the dreams of these children. And if you think about, they only set up this project in 2016, which means that for 5 years, there were so many children without any education at all. And we often hear about that, about there being this generation of Syrian children without any schooling. And if you think about how worried, well, I was worried as a parent when my children couldn't go to school for 4 or 5 months this year. And so it really does make an enormous impact. If you look in the chat, there is a link to the Just Giving for donations. And also there's some information there about how much your money goes to the projects. I think Diana, our director, has put it in there about, you know, how £8 can cover a child's teaching for a month in northern Syria. So please, please, you can really help these children. Next on the agenda tonight, we're very excited to have a recorded piece from the journalist Misha Glenny. Some of you will remember Misha, who cut his teeth reporting in the Balkans in the 90s, in the wars in former Yugoslavia, for the BBC. He won a Sony Gold, which is the big prize for radio bods like me. He is an expert on Southeast Europe, and he gives some of his insights into the region.
Hello, my name's Misha Glenny, and here's a book I wrote some time ago, The Balkans, and that's one of the books that I've written, although most people know me because of this book, McMafia. That's actually the Spanish edition, because it was turned into a television show. It does, of course, start in the Balkans, McMafia, not in the TV show, but in the book. Yeah, so the Balkans is a 2-century modern history of the region, which I decided I wanted to start writing in the middle of the 1990s, towards the end of the wars in the former Yugoslavia, because there was not a single volume history of the modern Balkans which could place everything into context, because as is pretty well known, it's a fairly complex part of the world. It seems like a long time ago now since those wars, and since I was the BBC's main correspondent in the area reporting on them. It was, for me, the most formative period of my life, both professionally and personally. But if you think about it, it was only 25 years ago. Now, obviously, that's an entire generation, and it seems like a long time ago. And while for most people, what happened in the Balkans is now a distant memory, and we've moved on, and since then, actually, there have been even more terrible things, if that's imaginable, that have gone on in the world, not least in countries like Syria. But I think what it's worth bearing in mind, what it's always worth remembering, that a traumatic event like the war in the 1990s, or the wars in the 1990s, will leave their mark on social, political, and economic structures for decades to come. If you go onto the ground in the Balkans, you can see the problems pretty quickly. Problems of underdevelopment, which were accentuated by the war, of urban-rural splits, of fragmentation. There are pockets of very high unemployment, youth unemployment, so real challenges all over the place. And that's why it's really important that you have organizations like Firefly, or Svitac as it's known in the local language, working in areas like Brčko, where they've been operating for decades, because it's important that some people do not forget. The region is still stewing in the juices of that war, and this impacts on young generations coming through who need to have more hope, more optimism about what they can do in the future, that is not based upon the bitter memories of their parents' generations alone. And Brčko is especially important in this because it is the one area of Bosnia and Herzegovina which was shielded from the divisions between Serbs, Bosniaks and Croats that characterized the rest of this country. So I hope that you will really be able to get behind Firefly and the work that it does there, which is absolutely critical in fashioning the future for young people in Bosnia and Herzegovina in general, but also the wider region. And of course, since then, Firefly has branched out to still more challenging areas such as Palestine and Syria. And for that, I wish to salute them, and I wish to offer my warmest support and congratulations for all the work that they're doing, and that I hope that you will join in me when it comes to that backing.
Well, a huge thank you to Misha for recording that video for us, particularly because Bosnia and the Balkans region is not a region which is very well understood for many of us outside of the area. And I think Misha's message helps us to focus on hope and really the message that we should not forget the conflict that did take place in the region. It really ravaged the region throughout the 90s and still has such a deep impact there today. So with that in mind, the next video that we are going to show you is our Bosnia Centre, Svitac. And in this video, you'll see how the centre has adapted to COVID-19. And going back to Joanna's film and message that we saw at the beginning, Bosnia and our centre there is where Firefly was established, where Ellie Maxwell, our founder, started the charity. You'll see at the beginning of the video that we have children from 3 different ethnic groups speaking, and they've got some really touching messages for you. Also on the call this evening, I can see that we have Gordana here, and Gordana is our director of the centre in Bosnia, of Svitac. And Gordana may be around later. It's going to be very late for her to answer a couple of questions for those of you who want to ask. Also, just before we put the video on, we do keep talking about the chat. So for those of you who haven't found the Zoom chat, if you go to the bottom of your screens, you should see an option for a button which says chat. If you don't, there's a button which says more with 3 dots. Click on that and you should see an option for the chat there. And we're writing messages in there throughout the evening. We've put the Just Giving link in there, and we'd love you to go and visit. We'll be using the chat for the auction a little bit later. But let's go ahead now and watch our video from Bosnia.
Ja se zovem Mihajlo, imam 6 godina, prezime mi je Mićić. Za vrijeme korone mi je falilo djedi, baka i drugari. Ja se zovem Nikolina, imam 5 godina, za vrijeme korone je dostajala drugarica Una i Park. Zovem se Katarina, imam 5 godina, za vrijeme korone mi je dostajala baka i djedi i drugari.
The emergency COVID-19 situation has turned our world upside down and has surprised and worried us at the same time. In one day, we had to cancel all our activities at the youth center and switch to online work. It was difficult at first because neither the Svitac team nor the participants had adequate equipment for online work. But our team has showed long-term experience and skills in youth work. The online workshops provided an opportunity for the team to establish closer contacts with parents and to provide them with much needed support. Unfortunately, Lana and Lydia had to leave Bosnia suddenly, but they have showed great responsibility and have provided great support to our team by actively participating in online activities.
My name is Lana, I'm 20 years old and I'm from Germany, and I came to Brčko in September 2019.
My name is Lydia, I'm 19 years old and I was a volunteer from Germany with Svitac the last year.
So after 6 months of volunteering, I had to come back to Germany because the whole situation was too unclear for the volunteers to stay in Bosnia.
I'm afraid that when the second wave might hit, that Svitac and their work will be jeopardized again.
I was really glad that I had the chance to do online videos for the children from Omladinska organizacija Svitac.
Since 2012, Svitac has sent 37 Bosnian volunteers to different European countries. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, 2 young people from Brčko did not have a chance to make this life experience.
COVID-19 has ruined a year of my life. As a senior in high school, my plan for the following year was to take some time for self-improvement and to travel to experience some unique things. I really wanted to take part in an ESC ecological project in Greece. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, this was not possible for me and I had to stay in Brčko.
Hi everyone, I come from Brčko, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and this year I was supposed to start my voluntary service in Germany. Due to COVID-19, it got postponed, and right now I'm stuck in Bosnia because as a non-European citizen, I cannot leave my country right now without a visa, which is practically impossible now. So now all I can do is wait.
Luckily, from the beginning of June and until now, Svitac is allowed to work at the youth center again. We truly hope this hard time will be soon behind us.
Thank you very much, Gordana, Dina, Adine, Milos, and everyone at Svitac for making that video for us. We now have a Seamus Heaney poem read to us by the actress Pandora Coli. Some of you will remember Pandora, who supported the gala at St. Paul's Church in Covent Garden 2 years ago. And others might even recognise the poem. It sends a message of hope that seems appropriate in these times.
I'm reading from The Cure at Troy by Seamus Heaney. It's a play in verse that he adapted from the Sophocles, and it was first produced in 1990 when the Troubles still raged in Northern Ireland. But he said it was also a tribute to Nelson Mandela, and 30 years on, it still rings true today. Human beings suffer. They torture one another. They get hurt and get hard. No poem or play or song can fully right a wrong inflicted and endured. The innocent in jails beat on their bars together. A hunger striker's father stands in the graveyard dumb. The police widow in veils faints at the funeral home. History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. So hope for a great sea change on the far side of revenge. Believe that a further shore is reachable from here. Believe in miracles and cures and healing wells. Call miracles self-healing, the utter self-revealing double take of feeling. If there's fire on the mountain or lightning and storm and a God speaks from the sky, that means someone is hearing the outcry and the birth cry of new life at its term. It means once in a lifetime that justice can rise up and hope and history rhyme.
Well, thank you so much, Pandora, for recording that. It's so read in such a lovely way, and I think that message of hope really does chime very well with what we do at Firefly. So next we have a quick word from Sebastian Chambers, the chair of our trustees at Firefly, And I know that we have gone a little bit into your dinner time. We've had so much to pack in this evening, lots of wonderful things. We were sent some lovely, lovely recordings. We just wanted to include everything. So we'll have a slightly shorter dinner time, but I'm going to hand over to Seb in just a moment. And I'll say that Seb is the cousin of Ellie Maxwell, who founded Firefly. And Seb has really done so much amazing work and just given a huge amount of his own time to Firefly over the last 2 years. So Seb, I think you should be able to unmute yourself, and I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Charles, and thank you, Het, and the amazing committee for making all of this happen. What an incredible evening we're having. Those films are just so moving. It's amazing. Many charities have had a tough year this year, and it hasn't been easy for Firefly. Think of all the events and fundraising that we would normally do that we haven't been able to do. But somehow we are flourishing. And we're flourishing because of the incredible people we have working with Bosnian, Syrian, and Palestinian children. All thanks to Gordana and Fadia and Mohammed and their teams. You make us all proud to be part of Firefly. We're flourishing because of the work of Diana and Tor and Maria. These three women work tirelessly, sometimes all night, to make Firefly happen. We're flourishing today because of Margot, who's stepping down after 7 years as a trustee and chair of Firefly. Margot helped us define our direction and grow Firefly in the spirit of Ellie Maxwell, our illustrious and wonderful and amusing and funny and full of life founder. Margot got the Ellie Maxwell Award going for Edinburgh University students. Margot's constantly stepped into support, and never more so than when we temporarily didn't have a director. Margot found the indomitable Tor and indefatigable Diana. Every organisation needs a Margot, and Margot, we're enormously grateful for everything you've done for us. Massive thanks and a big hug. Most of all, Firefly is flourishing because of the network of support from all of you, our gala committee, our performers, our supporters and donors. Keep donating. My God, £5 in Gaza helps Mohammed with one of those children. Just keep £5, £10, £100, £500, keep it coming. Most of all, we're flourishing because of the wonderful world, the wonderful children that we work with. And that's what inspires us. Thank you all.
Thank you, Seb, the new Bob Geldof there. It's now time to break for dinner. I'm sorry, it was meant to be 45 minutes, but now you've only got half an hour. Enjoy your delicious food. Remember to keep the Zoom on because we've got some music for you. I know some of you are going to have mini Zooms with your friends over dinner, which is really lovely idea. And the music that follows is a collection of 4. We have first up the Syrian musician Maya Youssef. Maya is playing an instrument called the Qanun, which is a horizontal harp. You'll see it in the video. And it forms a centerpiece of the Arab orchestra. And she's performing with her accompanist, a cellist, and somebody on percussion. She wanted to record something specifically for this evening, but sadly, because of lockdown, many of our musicians can't be with their accompanists. So she sent a recent thing that they recorded together. And next comes the singer Clara Pople. Clara was born in Cumbria. She started singing, I'm told, before she could talk, and she has the most amazing natural voice. Clara is currently a student at BMM in Manchester, studying music. But I urge you to listen. She's done 2 covers and then one of her own pieces, and I urge you to listen to the third original piece. I was blown away. And next we have the incredible 15-year-old Kenza Stamselberg. Now, some of you who've been to Firefly events before will remember Kenza. She's almost grown up with our galas. I think she started at the first one in 2014, and she and her family are wonderful supporters of Firefly. Her mother, Nadia, is originally from Bosnia, while her father is from Denmark. And she is playing a Janáček piece with Nigel Hutchison, and Nigel has also been accompanied her at the galas. And then finally, our final musical piece is from James from Project Coast, who also appeared in the 2018 gala on his mandole. I think James is on the call tonight, I'm hoping. This is a Algerian instrument, and it's rather beautiful and haunting. I'll stop talking now. See you in half an hour, and enjoy your dinners.
They say the river flows with tears, not water. They say her heart was broken a long time ago. And if you listen to the song that she is singing, you can probably hear her crying as she flows. They say she fell in love with a man's reflection. He looked looked into her eyes while she lay there alone. Her life had been a journey in isolation, and suddenly there was someone all of her own. Then he began to talk. He said, I'm sorry. Then he began to say, it is not your fault. Then he began to say, oh, I am sorry. And I just want to say that it's no one's fault. The man returned for days and days to the river. He stood there gazing deep into her eyes, and something about the way he looked so longing. She felt her heart rise up, oh, then capsize. Then he began to talk. He said, I'm sorry. Then he began to say, it is not your fault. Then he began to say, oh, I am sorry. And I just want to say that it's no one's fault. And then one day he came again to the river. He looked at her, so sad, so full of regret. The river felt his tears drop into her water. She understood his love was not for her.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you can all hear me again, and you don't have indigestion from your fast supper. We ran out of time there for Project Coast, but we are going to make all our videos and our music available, so you'll be able to see them later in the video, in the email that Diane is going to send out later, and there'll be more information, and she'll explain a bit that later. And so I'm going to hand over to Kat Manson now from Christie's, who has very kindly agreed to do our auction, our live auction tonight. So these are the 4 lots which will be removed from the auction, the online site. She will take them from the current bids that they're at. So I'm handing over to Kat.
So, Kat, do we have you? I think we just need to turn you off mute. Just a moment. Kat, you should be able to turn yourself off. There you go.
Fantastic. Can everybody hear me? Can I have a few thumbs up, please? Believe me, my family tried to find the mute button for me a lot of the time. So, how exciting to be here. Hello, everybody. Good evening. And before we start, I think we should raise a toast to the whole team at Firefly, who have worked so hard during the course of this year and for tonight. So charge your glasses, raise a toast, clap your hands, and say thank you, not only for this evening, but for all the work you do. And of course, I want to see you having a good slurp, so the spirit of generosity really flows through you as we have our auction. In a fantastic audience tonight. I'm sorry that I can't see you in person, but I see you on Zoom. Thank you very, very much, and well done, Firefly. Good night.
Good night. Amazing job, Kat. That was incredible. I've been having messages from my various WhatsApp groups flooding in saying, oh my goodness, Kat, she's incredible. Wow, is she a professional? It's like, yeah, well, yes. Kat works at Christie's, and although being an auctioneer isn't her main job, she obviously is incredibly good at it. And a huge thank you from all of us at Firefly for raising so much money and making it really fun. I hope everyone else enjoyed it too. You might have seen my various family appearing over my shoulder as they were being shamed into bidding and failing. And I had my other extended family messaging me going, should we bid? Should we bid? But they didn't. But very much thank you. I hand over to Charles now.
Kat, I'm absolutely blown away. That was just amazing, thoroughly entertaining. I could see lots of people. I had loads of messages coming in as well. Just amazing. And I think we have to have you at all of the next Firefly events that we do. We would absolutely love you, and you're so kind for volunteering your time. I just absolutely loved it. And yeah, some amazing results. I think we've raised much more than we thought. And please, everyone, go to the online auction page. I think we put the link in the chat already. And we've got about 20 or so other items which we're still auctioning. There's some really, really good things. Lots of other holiday homes, other pieces of art. I think there's even some fish. There's a turkey. We want that to be the most expensive turkey people will ever buy. So please, get your bids in there, and that would be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, huge thanks to Kat. And also, we're going to hear from Diana in just a second, our director. I just want to also say a huge thanks to Tor. You saw it was Victoria there who was writing in about her 2 boys, but Tor is our charity manager, and Tor has done loads to help get this evening together, and has been up really late. We've been emailing back and forth, so a huge thanks to Tor. Thanks to all of the Gala committee as well, who've done an amazing job. Everyone's here, everyone's invited all of their friends and family and colleagues, and I want to say a huge thanks to Het. Het has been organising this for weeks and weeks preceding this, and has done a really fantastic job. And also a huge thank you to Diana, who's our director, our leader, who makes things move forward. And a huge thank you to all of you for donating, and please continue to donate. You're going to hear from Diana in just a moment. Diana will give some more formal thanks and really a call to arms for what we need. And then we're going to go to for Q&A. But after Diana's presentation, if you need to leave the call, that will be the perfect time to do so. And if you want to stay for a Q&A, we'd love to hear some questions, and it's an opportunity for some of you to say something if you want to as well. So Diana, I will just go to unmute you, and then I'll hand over to you. You should be able to unmute yourself now. There we go. I think you've almost got it. So Diana, just try again, and you should be able to unmute yourself. Yeah, there you go.
Hi. Oh, you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Hi, everyone. It's so lovely to see you all. You've listened to so many inspiring and informative things tonight, which I definitely won't be able to top. So I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. After we finish, we're going to send out an email, which I urge you to read. It lets you know ways in which you can support Firefly and the work our incredible partners do day in, day out. Huge thanks to Gordana in Brčko, Fadia in Antakya, and Mohammed in Gaza. We are incredibly proud of what you achieve and how you have all adapted this year to face COVID and its devastating impact, not least economically where you work. It's so hard for us in the UK to look outwards at the moment when we are so confined to home, but it's important to focus on life beyond our borders. Life is tough here, but most of us are sitting in a warm and comfortable home. In Syria, the families we work with are struggling to heat their tents this winter, as the cost of firewood has doubled and they cannot afford to keep warm. Children are dying of hypothermia. Firefly for Syrians offers 362 children a month in Syria safe and warm schools where they can learn and have some sort of normality and routine. As you heard from Fadia, we need more funds to extend what we can offer in Syria to more children. We believe that these locally led initiatives can offer the best solutions to the problems affecting communities living in the shadow of war. Because we are small, funds can be carefully targeted with no waste. What you give is not lost in the administrative costs of a big organisation. 83p of every pound you donate goes directly to our partners' work. Our central aim is to build hope and stability in communities devastated by war. And as Misha Glenny so accurately said, young people need hope and optimism about what they can do in the future, not based on the bitter memories of the generations before. My thanks. I have some thanks to give because this evening would not have been possible without so many people. The committee who organised this, Seb, Charles, Karim, Viola, Isabella, Ross, Ros, Roisin and Het. They've done an incredible job. Our patron, Joanna David, for her moving words at the beginning. Misha Glenny for so powerfully expressing why Svitac's work, building tolerance and hope in Brčko is still so important 25 years on from the war. Pandora Coli for her brilliant reading of a poem on the importance of hope. Everyone who donated an auction prize, they have been incredibly generous. Thank you. Thank you to the wonderful musicians and singers, Kenza, Clara with her brother Jake, Project Coast and Maya Youssef. To Hind Shoufani for sharing her moving and personal story. To Itab and Dina for their delicious menu and recipes. To Kat Manson for her brilliant auctioneering. That was extraordinary and brilliant. Maisie Palmer, sitting in the background for her brilliant and crucial technical support. Many thanks to Margot Coles for her huge contribution to Firefly over the many years she has been involved. Massive thanks to Tor for her invaluable and unflagging support right through the night sometimes. and to Charles and Het for the many, many hours of work that they have put into this event and for hosting it so brilliantly. The reason we can send the vast majority of what we raise to the front line is because we have so much wonderful voluntary support in the UK. Last but not least, thanks to all of you who support us and enable us to do what we do. It is an incredibly tough year for fundraising, which makes us so particularly happy to see you all here tonight. I hope you had a good insight into what we do, but if there are any questions, please stay on and we will answer. And please remember to read the mail we send out later tonight. Thank you all so much.
Thanks so much, Diana. And we all have to say such a huge thanks to you as well. I know Diana does so much in the background and, you know, is contracted to work for Firefly for just something like 1 day a week, but ends up doing most days a week and is a huge volunteer as well to us. So thank you, Diana, from all of the trustees, and I think also from everyone here on this call. Thank you so much. And we should also say a huge thanks to Roz, who organised all of our auction. She's done so much work in the background for the online auction. So now is the time that we'll start to bring the call to a close. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this evening. I think we've raised a fantastic amount of money, more than we could have hoped for. We weren't sure whether we were going to have a gala or not this year. We've ended up doing it on Zoom and it's worked out pretty fabulously, I think. And we're going to try and do more of these Zoom events. We did one in July as a little trial one. This has been a big success, I think, and we're going to do more throughout the year. So please stay in touch. Please come back and join us for more events that we do have. And of course, we hope that we're going to have in-person events at some time in the near future, and we want you to be there. So thanks everyone for joining. If you do need to leave the call now, please feel free to do so. But we are going to move now to a quick Q&A session. We can stay around for about 10 to 15 minutes, and we would love to have some of your questions. So please now, if you go to the Zoom chat, which you've all been using or you've all been viewing, if you would like to type a question in there, please do so. If someone would like to say, you know, a hello, then I can find your name and I can unmute you and you can say hi. I know that we have Colin, for example, here this evening from IMET 2000. And I think we also have Stella from ACT International. Both of you be very welcome to say something if you'd like to. But any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat. So we already have one in, and that was, didn't see the whole video about the Syrian school project. Do they go to school in Syria or in Turkey? So I'd just like to hand over to Maria, maybe to answer that, about where our children go to school with the Antakya project that we have.
Okay, our children are currently working online in Turkey, and they do go to Turkish schools. So we accelerate their learning through their online studies with us in order to prepare them for and help them in their Turkish schools catch up. Inside Syria, the schools are currently open. We were shut for a week, but we're back open in the camps. And we have the Firefly School, and we also support 2 other schools. So the Firefly School is addressing primary education, and the other schools are sort of more up to 14-year-old girls. And also we run workshops, science workshops, which are sort of accelerated learning for more children that aren't used to sitting in the classroom. And we run those in centres when it's safe enough to work and those centres are open. I hope that answers your question.
That's great. Thank you very much, Maria. And I see we've had we need some more questions, so please type away. If anyone has a question, please do add that, and then we can answer that for you. I see we have a message from Dina in Bosnia saying thank you so much for the great event and the great effort. And Dina is one of the team who've been on the call this evening. So we have a question come in, thank you, from Christiane. If the Syrian children don't go to the Firefly school, is there no other government-run school? Where do these kids go to school? Yeah, it's a great question. I know we really lack a lot of context about Syrian refugees and where they are and what the situation is in each country. So Maria, can I hand back to you to answer that?
Yes. So in northern Syria, there are government-run schools. They have no resources and very limited education. And currently, with the state of the Syrian lira, teachers aren't being paid, their salaries aren't being paid, and so schools are closing. So it's a very endangered situation, if you like, for children at the moment, and very unstable in terms of their education, as it has been in any area of conflict.
Brilliant, thank you, Maria. I think it would be lovely to just say a couple of words about Gaza, and I know I can see Colin's right on my screen, and I know you had a few words in our July call. It would be lovely just to hear from you if you had any comments about the Gaza project. I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself. You should be able to unmute now.
Yes, I'm unmuted, Charles. Yes, I do want to make a statement, not a question, because I think what Firefly, I have to say my charity works entirely in Palestine, or virtually entirely in Palestine, and particularly in Gaza, with all sorts of mental health problems and physical health problems and trauma. But I have to say that Firefly, I shouldn't make comparisons with other charities that we work with because we collaborate with dozens. But I have to say to you tonight, to everybody, that this Firefly lot, the best lot I've ever come across to work with, and in a long career in this charity business. I admire them enormously, and I'm not going to name names because they'll be embarrassed, but I do commend the whole shooting match to you. They're wonderful people, and I particularly wanted to say hello to Mohammed al-Sharif in Gaza, because he and his colleague are doing a great job on the mental health side. And if we enlarge that and combine that with the Music Conservatory, the Edward Said Conservatory, for example, which helps us, I'm at the charity, and we combine that with art and music therapy, I think what the CAT project is, we can enlarge that and bring more children in and have more volunteers to help them. But at the moment, I think what Mohammed and Haitham are doing is extraordinary and much admired. We've also worked in Firefly with Syria, and I love doing that. And we also worked in Nablus with the Project Hope, which became self-sufficient, and with the Nablus Festival, which also Firefly was involved with. And that's the sort of thing they're doing. They get things started and maintain it and are sustainable. So I won't go on, but they're a terrific bunch, and I commend them to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Colin. That's really kind of you. And if Stella is on the call, I can't seem to find you. It would be great to hear from you in just a moment if you would like to say a few words. So Colin is one of our partner charities, and Stella is also from one of our partner charities. Colin just mentioned CAT, and that stands for Child Accelerated Trauma Treatment, which I think you heard earlier. That is the method that Mohammed uses to help the children that he supports in Gaza. I know that Gordana is on the call, and Gordana, I don't know if your microphone works, but I will allow you to unmute yourself. If you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, it would be lovely to hear from you. So Gordana is our director of our Bosnia Center, and just be great to say hello, Gordana.
Hi, hello. It is such a pleasure to be tonight with you. For us, it is one way to travel, because this year we are on red list of every country, so we have to stay in Brčko, and this is also a new opportunity to attend events like this gala. This is also something we didn't experience earlier, so thank you so much for giving us opportunity. Thank you so much for organizing this event tonight and supporting our work here in Bosnia. We really appreciate that, and our participants, our little children, really appreciate everything you did for us and still doing. Thank you to Het and you for organizing this, to putting so much your time, and thank you to everybody who attends this event. We're really glad to be here.
Thanks, Gordana. Thank you so much. If anyone has a question for Gordana, please do go ahead and write that. Het, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yes, I just wanted to, Emily and Caroline have a question, and Colin might be able to answer it, or Maria. What is typically the age of the children who are helped by Mohammed and Haitham in Gaza? Maria, are you aware of that?
I think it would be really nice to hear directly from Mohammed. I'm happy to translate.
Is he there?
Yeah, Mohammed's here. You should be able to unmute yourself, Mohammed.
Mohammed, what age are the children that you help in your clinics?
بدنا
الأطفال.
Yes. I worked with the children to 6 to 17.
6 to 17.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Back to you, Charles.
We had a question of who do you have working in the Syrian refugee schools? I suppose you're not allowed to enter. Maria, we also have that one on the chat. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but who do you have working in the Syrian refugee schools? You should be able to unmute yourself.
Oh, yes. In fact, the wonderful thing about Firefly is we empower local people to lead the projects. So our teachers are engineers that have fled Syria, who we have retrained as teachers, who are delivering education and training their colleagues inside Syria online. So all our teachers are Syrian refugees themselves. They're either IDPs, internally displaced people in North Syria, or they are inside southern Turkey. So we at Firefly, our job is to gather you guys together to support our fantastic local teams on the ground. Does that clarify things?
That's perfect. Thank you, Maria. And thanks so much, Maria, for being on hand to answer everyone's questions. And we can't thank you so much for your work.
Another question for Mohammed. How do you identify which children you need to help? Because Maria said that there were 270,000 children who need this help. How do you choose which are the next 50?
Mohammed, you need to unmute yourself.
Yes, I am Mohammed. I'm a psychologist. I worked with ACT International and with Firefly and Item 220. I worked with the children in Gaza in the first, in the starting to children coming in the center and evaluation for pre-test, after that post-test.
Okay. محمد في سؤال شوي تاني هي يقول كيف ليش واحد أطفال ليش هو مش هي كيف بتعرف مين أكلينيك؟ بدنا صوت محمد عفوا. ما في صوت.
I think Mohammed can't unmute himself. You can try, Mohammed, but oh, there you go.
Yes. Okay. Can you make to in the children select the child, because then the children traumatized Yes.
Sorry.
Maria, do you want to perhaps summarize? Do you think, if
Yeah.
you know the answer, do you want to let us know?
Chooses the traumatized children. So my understanding is that Mohammed does awareness raising sessions with caregivers, and then they come to him and he will do a pre-treatment test to see if the children have PTSD, and he will interview them. And then if he identifies post-traumatic stress syndrome, then he will go ahead and work with that child one-to-one. Sometimes there's many other issues. Sometimes he can treat the child by doing psychoeducation about how the brain works with the family, and the child can be treated in quite a simple way. But often, particularly in Gaza, they're very complex trauma cases.
Brilliant. Thank you, Maria. I think we'll draw the questions to a close there, and I'll ask everyone who has any more questions to please email us. You'll receive an email later this evening. I would like to give the very final word, though, to Virginia, who I see is on the call there with Peter as well. And Virginia is Ellie's mother. So Virginia has been involved right from the beginning with Firefly. So Virginia, if you just would like to say, a quick hello to everyone.
Are we unmuted?
We can hear you, yeah.
We wanted to, we're both asked at how brilliant this evening is.
Astonished might be better.
Astonished, Peter's saying, rather than aghast. It's been the most extraordinary success, and I think it's going to have raised so much money for Maria, for Gordana, for Mohammed, and Ellie's going to be looking down saying how amazing everything you managed to do tonight. Simply wonderful. Thank you all so much.
It was a lot of fun too.
And it's been such fun. It's been so beautifully done.
Thank you, Virginia. And thanks, Peter. It's lovely to hear from both of you. Lovely to hear from both of you. And thanks everyone for being here this evening. I know we're now down to fewer people. Everyone's had to go, but we do have people on this call who it's really, really late for. So thank you so much to those of you who have been able to join from other countries and stayed here. I know I've had a friend call in from Australia. We've had people from all over the world here, which is really, really fantastic. I'll ask you please to check your emails later this evening. It may not go into your main inbox, it may go to your other inbox. So definitely check that, check out how you can continue to support us. Please stay in touch with us. Please join future events. We really need your help and support. We need people to help with media, with fundraising, with various volunteering things. So if you have any ideas, please do contact us. We would love to hear from you. Het, do you want to say a final word?
No, I just want to say thank you, everyone. Have a fun evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Echoey.
Margot, we have Margot here who I can see, who I think maybe you, if you want, you can just say a quick little 10-second hello to everyone.
We have had the most fantastic evening. I just think it's been brilliant. I can't tell you, honestly, Charles, Het, what a great job, and Diana and Maria. I'm blown away. I feel quite sort of emotional about the whole thing. It's so brilliantly done, and congratulations. And I'm going to be close by. I know I'm sort of saying slightly farewell, but I'm still a friend of Fireflies always. Thank you so much. Great night. Brilliant, brilliant.
Wonderful. Thanks, Margaret. So we'll draw it to a close there. I know it's late for everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and please come back to our future events. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, and hope to see you in person next year.
Bye.